Hello, everyone. This is Independent Conservative. I am Ryan Bolin. Thank you all for joining me. So, actor Louis Gossett Jr., that actor from that I remember from quite a few movies, but one in particular, Officer and a Gentleman. Excellent movie, by the way. He has passed at the age of 87. Now, I want to read you guys this article because in this article, it has some very insightful information about some of the things that Louis Gossett Jr. suffered in trying to become an actor, a lot of true racism that he suffered, and his response to that, because I really want to focus on that. But once again, he has passed at the age of 87. He's an Academy Award winning actor and one of the greatest actors I've ever seen in my life. So let's get right into this. And it is a sad occasion. My prayers go out to the family members of Louis Gossett Jr. Louis Gossett Jr., the first black man to win a supporting actor Oscar and an Emmy winner for his role in a similar TV series, miniseries Roots, has died. He was 87. Now, like I said, in this article is going to bring out some very insightful information that I was not aware of at all, but also is going to bring out some information about him suffering actual racism from the police and his response to it. And I'm going to contrast that. I don't want to give away all of that, but you probably know what I'm about to start, what I'm going to say when I get to it. Okay. Gossip's nephew told the Associated Press that the actor died Thursday night in Santa Monica, California. No cause of death has been revealed. Gossip also thought of his early career as a reverse Cinderella story, with success finding him from an early age and propelling him forward toward his Academy Award for an Officer and a Gentleman. And if any of you guys have not seen that movie, it's an 80s film, okay, starring Richard Gere. But if any of you have not seen that movie, I highly recommend the movie. Number one, for Richard Gere's outstanding role, and also for Louis Gossett Jr.'s role as a drill sergeant. I think it was in the Navy or something like that, or the Navy or the Air Force. I can't remember exactly. But excellent film, one of my favorite films from the 80s, and outstanding roles from the both of these guys. So I highly recommend that movie. The article goes on to say he earned his first acting credit in his Brooklyn high school production of You Can't Take It With You while he was sidelined from the basketball team with an injury. I was hooked, and so was my audience, he wrote in his 2010 memoir, An Actor and a Gentleman. His English teacher urged him to go into Manhattan to try out for Take a Giant Step. He got the part and made his Broadway debut in 1953 at age 16. So he was working at an early age on these things. I knew too little to be nervous, Gossett wrote. In retrospect, I should have been scared to death as I walked onto that stage, but I wasn't. Excuse me. Gossett attended New York University on a basketball and drama scholarship. He was soon acting and singing on TV shows hosted by David Shushkine, Ed Sullivan, Red Buttons, Merv Griffin, Jack Parr, and Steve Allen. Gossett became friendly. Now, I love this part here. This is interesting that I knew nothing about. Gossett became friendly with James Dean and studied acting with Marilyn Monroe, Martin Landau, and Steve McQueen at an offshoot of the Actors Studio taught by Frank Silvera. Very, very interesting. He studied acting with these icons of yesteryear. Wow, that is incredible, man. I couldn't say that about today, but whatever. In 1959, not putting any of the actors down today, some of them are cool, but a lot of these new Hollywood actors, I don't know. But anyway, in 1959, Gossett received critical acclaim for his role in the Broadway production of a Raisin in the Sun, along with Sidney Poitier, another legend, Ruby Dee, another legend, and Diana Sands. He went on to become a star on Broadway, replacing Billy Daniels in Golden Boy with Sammy Davis Jr., another legend, in 1964. Gossett went on to Hollywood for the first time in 1961 to make the film version of A Raisin in the Sun. He had bitter memories of that trip. Now, here's where it gets pretty dark, right? No pun intended. He had bitter memories of that trip, staying in a cockroach-infested motel that was one of the few places to allow black people. So back in those days, they had real discrimination. They suffered real discrimination, real racism. Okay, but let's go on. In 1968, he returned to Hollywood for a major role in Companions in Nightmares, NBC's first made-for-TV movie that starred Melvin Douglas, Ann Baxter, and Patrick O'Neill. This time, Gossett was booked into the Beverly Hills Hotel, and Universal Studios had rented him a convertible. Driving back to the hotel after picking up the car, he was stopped by a Los Angeles County Sheriff's officer who ordered him to turn down the radio and put up the car's roof before letting him go. Wow. Within minutes, he was stopped by 8 sheriff's officers. 8. That's wow. Who had him lean against the car and made him open the trunk while they called the car rental agency before letting him go. Now, if the leftist, liberal, Marxist, activist groups had heard about this, they'd have been trying to protest and beat up every white person they see. But watch what Louis Gossett Jr.'s, listen to what Louis Gossett Jr.'s response is to this type of stuff, where they had real opposition. Though I understood that I had no choice but to put up with this abuse, it was a terrible way to be treated, a humiliating way to be treated, to feel, Gossett wrote in his memoir. I realized this was happening because I was black and had been showing off with a fancy car, which in their view, I had no right to be driving. Now, that was true back then. Today, I highly doubt it. I highly doubt a white police officer is going to stop a black person with a nice looking car because they're black. Okay. It's usually something black people are doing in today's society. See, that's the problem. After dinner at the hotel, he went, but Louis Gossett wasn't doing nothing. He was just driving in a fancy car. So clearly, that was clearly a racial situation. Okay. Today, highly unlikely, and I'm not going to get into the details of that. After dinner at the hotel, he went for a walk and was stopped a block away by a police officer who told him he broke a law prohibiting walking around residential Beverly Hills after 9 p.m. That's deep. That he broke a law that prohibited walking around residential Beverly Hills after 9 p.m. 2 other officers arrived, and Gossett said he was chained. Listen to this. He was chained to a tree and handcuffed for 3 hours. He was eventually freed when the original police car returned. Now, before everyone, the people that may be watching this video, that may be liberal or whatever, and you watching this video, hold on to your hats. Don't get butt hurt just yet. Because watch what he's going to do. Now I had come face to face with racism, and it was an ugly sight, he wrote, but it was not going to destroy me. Did you read that? But it was not going, did you hear that? But it was not going to destroy me. I'll expound on that later. In the late 1990s, Gossett said he was pulled over by police on Pacific Coast Highway while driving in his restored 1986 Rolls Royce. The officer told him he looked like someone they were searching for, but the officer recognized Gossett and left. He founded the E-Racism Foundation to help create a world where racism doesn't exist. Gossett made a series of guest appearances on such shows as Bonanza, The Rockford Files, The Mod Squad, McCloud, and a memorable turn with Richard Pryor on the Patriots Family. In August 1969, Gossett had been partying. This is very interesting too, and quite terrifying. Had been partying with members of the Mamas and the Papas when they were invited to actor Sharon Tate's house. He headed home first to shower and change clothes. As he was getting ready to leave, he caught a news flash on TV about Tate's murder. She and others were killed by Charles Manson's associates that night. There had to be a reason for my escaping this bullet, he wrote. Oh, wow. That was, man. Some people can say that was just circumstances, or others may say it was attributed to God. Who knows? But had he been there, more than likely he would have been slaughtered. Louis Cameron Gossett was born on May 27, 1936, in the Coney Island section of Brooklyn, New York, to Lewis Sr., a porter, and Helen, a nurse. He later added Jr. to his name to honor his father. Gossett broke through on the small screen as Fiddler in the groundbreaking 1977 miniseries Roots, which depicted the atrocities of slavery on TV. The sprawling cast included Ben Vereen, LeVar Burton, and John Amos, legends. Gossett became the third black Oscar nominee in the supporting actor category in 1983. He won for his performance as an intimidating Marine drill instructor in An Officer and a Gentleman. Now, they say Marine, but I don't know if it was I don't think it was the Marines. I think that was a mistake. I don't think it was the Marines. Opposite Richard Gere and Deborah Winger. He also won a Golden Globe for the same role. More than anything, it was a huge affirmation of my position as a black actor, he wrote in his memoir. The Oscar gave me the ability of being able to choose good parts in movies like Enemy Mine, great movie, Sadat, S-A-D-A-T, never heard of that, and Iron Eagle, never seen that. Gossett said in Dave Karger's 2024 book, 50 Oscar Nights. He said his statue was in storage. I'm going to donate it to a library so I don't have to keep an eye on it, he said in the book. I need to be free of it. Gossett appeared in such TV movies, and I know there's a lot of information, but I want you guys to get this. I think this is very enlightening. Gossett appeared in such TV movies as The Story of Satchel Paige, Backstairs at the White House, and The Josephine Baker Story. Excellent movie, Josephine Baker Story. The other two movies I never heard of, but Josephine Baker Story I love, for which he won another Golden Globe and Roots Revisited. And I think I've seen some of Roots Revisited, but I didn't see all of it. But he said winning an Oscar didn't change the fact that all his roles were supporting ones. He played an obstinate patriot in the 2023 remake of The Color Purple. Didn't see that movie. There was people had mixed reviews of it, different opinions of it, but nevertheless. Gossett struggled with alcohol and cocaine addiction for years after his Oscar win. He went on to rehab where he was diagnosed with toxic mold syndrome, which he attributed to his house in Malibu. In 2010, Gossett announced he had prostate cancer, which he said was caught in the early stages. In 2020, he was hospitalized with COVID-19. He is survived by his son, Sadie, a producer-director from his second marriage, and Sharon, a chef, whom he adopted after seeing the 7-year-old in the TV segment on Children in Desperate Situations. His first cousin is actor Robert Gossett. Gossett's first marriage to Hattie Glasgow was annulled. His second to Christina Mansgozing ended in divorce in 1975, as did his third to actor Cindy James Reese in 1992. Wow, 3 marriages. And that's the end of that article right there. Yeah, I know there was a lot of information to be reading about this, but I wanted you guys to hear the depth of all that he had accomplished. And I'm pretty sure that's not all that he'd accomplished. There's more if you read his memoir, obviously. But I wanted you guys to get the depth of that. But I wanted to just focus in on just a few minutes on the fact that he talked about the true opposition, the true racial discrimination that he was experiencing with these police officers. And back in those days, racism was in your face. Okay, it was right in your face. It was not covered up. It was right in your face. We don't like you. You're black. You uppity, whatever. No. We're going to stop that. So clearly, he has suffered overt, in-your-face racism. But what I liked about him, and this is what I think a lot of black conservatives try to tell a lot of these black people of today, especially these race hustlers that are out here feeding off of this idea that blacks are being discriminated against because they're black and all this other kind of stuff in 2024 America, okay, is the fact that he said, I did not let it destroy me. And what he was saying, what I interpret from that is he was saying I would not allow their racist attitudes towards me to cause me to be embittered, to cause me to feel sorry for myself, to cause me to boo-hoo and cry to the government to give me reparations and all this other kind of stuff that I keep hearing from black people today and from these black race hustlers and these organizations that think they're helping black people, but they're not helping black people. You actually are making us more victims, mental victims, to this idea of systemic racism and white supremacy. That's a bunch of bullcrap. Most white people and most white police officers, they are not thinking about that type of stuff. They're just trying to do their job and go home. They don't want to have to deal with Black Lives Matter. They don't want to have to deal with the race hustlers. They don't want to have to deal with the controlled mainstream media. They just want to do their job and go home. That's what they want to do. The only people that keep talking about this stuff are the race hustlers. The only people that keep talking about this stuff are the Democratic politicians and the liberal school teachers. They're the only ones that's constantly running this narrative, and that's why people keep thinking about it. But guess who keeps thinking about it? Black people that keep thinking about it. It's not the white people that's thinking about it. They don't care. That's why they're always apologetic to everything that they think that they may run a black person the wrong way. They say they're constantly apologizing because they don't want no trouble. It's black people that's walking around with a chip on. I shared it before. It's black people that's walking around with a chip on their shoulder. Let's get past this, man. Let's go on. We are in a time as black people right now in 2024 America. We are in the most freest time that this country has ever produced. We have made great inroads and great progress past the time that Louis Gossett has been in. He was in a time where it was really in your face. But look at how successful he was. He never let that stop him. He persevered. And that's one of the issues that I have with black people today. When they face a perceived racial discrimination against them that's usually perceived, is in their mind, they want to cry and boo-hoo and say the black white man, this and the white man. And I agree with Jesse Peterson on that. They want to cry and boo-hoo about what the white man is doing and what he should be doing. They're spending all their time crying about how bad the white man is treating the black man instead of just saying, you know what, I'm not going to allow that to destroy me. I'm going to persevere and go on. Whatever happened to perseverance? Whatever happens to keep... See, that's what people gotta understand. Black conservatives are not saying racism never existed or doesn't exist today. What we're saying is, in essence, is if it is as bad as it was back then, let's adopt the mindset that blacks had back then. The mindset of, I'm not going to let this destroy me. I'm going to persevere. I have a vision for my life. I'm going to set goals. I'm going to pursue those goals, and I'm going to fulfill the vision of my life in spite of opposition. That's the mindset, but they're too busy crying. I see this all the time on my job, crying about this, crying about that, and it ticks me off because they don't want to come to work. I don't know how many people have gotten fired on my job because they didn't want to work. They don't want to come to work. They're rejecting the laws and regulations of the job. I get tired of seeing that. It's embarrassing. It's embarrassing. You know? And so, yeah, it's unfortunate that Louis Gossett has passed, but he has led a rich life based on the information that I've gotten here. He has led a rich life. He was a man that I perceive as persevering in the midst of real racism, not perceived racism that we see today. Everything is racist now. Every time you look, oh my God, he's racist. If I was a white person, I wouldn't even look at a black person. I'd just turn the other way to look somewhere else. Because I don't want to look at the person the wrong way because they might get mad at me. They might think I'm trying to be in this whole thing like Karen. I hate that word. I hate when people use that word to attribute that word to white people because it's usually always towards white people. You know, Karen is a word, from what I understand, correct me in the comment box, but I believe I get the gist of it. Karen is a word that's used towards a white person, white female, that's overreacting to something that somebody black may have did. So they overreact to it. Okay, that's called a Karen. Where it came from, I have no clue and don't care. It's interesting because I see more black Karens than I do white Karens where I work and what I've been dealing with. A lot of these black females act like they don't have no kind of sense, no kind of morals, no kind of values. They go off on the littlest things. They're always fighting, cussing, foul mouths, nasty individuals. That's what I see. So sum this video up, man. You know, look, as black people, let's just persevere. Go on, okay? Let's stop trying to make everything a racial issue. Chill out with the race hustlers, man, and let's just go on. Let's just go on and persevere and have a vision for our life. What do I see myself 5 years from now, 10 years from now? What am I doing to make things better for myself? financially, economically, emotionally? What am I personally doing other than crying to the government to give me reparations? Other than crying to the government that white police officers are pulling me over because I'm black? Foolish stuff that makes no sense whatsoever, and it's all based on us being programmed and brainwashed to embrace that narrative. It's a lie, and I don't trust it, and I don't support it. But hooray for Louis Gossett Jr. for his successful life and his willingness to persevere in spite of real opposition and real racism. He did not let it destroy him. Hopefully, more black people will adopt that mindset today in the midst of opposition, perceived or unperceived. So that's what I wanted to say on it. What do you guys think about it? Leave your comments in the comment section below. Like, share, subscribe to my channel. God bless you all, and see you again.